Hello, my friends, my family, my community, my tribe. Welcome to the Hippie Moms Podcast. Oh, yeah. What's up, you guys? How are you? I'm so glad you're here. This episode is amazing. I completely enjoyed talking to Stacie Sholer. She is a Feng Shui expert. Honestly, when you sing the words Feng Shui, it's so much better. Feng Shui. Just try it, okay? Right now, just do it. Stacie is lovely, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about her and talk about the episode. But first, I am going to share with you guys, check this out. I'm going to share with you, we have a sponsor for this episode. So our sponsor, I'll just tell you who it is Scout & Cellar, clean crafted wine. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a story. A couple years ago, if you've been listening to me for a while, I consumed alcohol pretty regularly for a very long period of time. And of course, on my journey to optimal health, I discovered how much crap is in wine. Okay, so check this out. So in March of 2016, Moms Across America released results showing that 10 major California wines contain the chemical glyphosate. Okay, remember, glyphosate is awful for you. We avoid GMOs because they're doused with glyphosate. This really hurts and kills the detoxification pathways in our bodies, okay? So we want to stay away from this. And it's basically it's a carcinogen, okay? And it's found in all three categories of wine. This includes conventional chemical grown, organic, and biodynamic wine. So why is it such a big deal? Because you can go to the store and buy organic biodynamic wines and it can still have glyphosate in it. What the heck? I know, isn't that so messed up? Also, besides glyphosate, the FDA allows up to 250 additives in wine, such as one is ferrocyanide. Okay, this is a chemical used as an anti-caking agent, and exposure has been linked to respiratory and digestive health issues. Ammonium phosphate. Phosphate. See what I'm saying? I can't even pronounce these ingredients, you guys. And what is the one thing I keep telling you? If you don't know what it is, you can't read the chemical. Your body can't either. It doesn't know what it is. So this ingredient is in fertilizers. It's used as a flame retardant, and it's linked to vomiting, tiredness, fever, diarrhea, low blood pressure, slow pulse, spasms, coma. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's also copper sulfate. So this is really toxic when ingested. It's linked to vomiting and extremely dangerous to our digestive system. It also does damage to body tissues, blood cells, liver, and kidneys. Okay, the next thing is mega purple. How about this? So there's something called mega purple, and it's an additive that brings dark color and sweetness to wine. It's full of sugar, and it's added to wines that don't have a dark enough red color. So it's basically fruit juice with a bunch of chemicals in it. And there's tons of synthetic pesticides, which that's what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to get away from them. And listen, alcohol is alcohol. I'm not telling anyone to drink alcohol. If anything, you should drink less alcohol or no alcohol. But I understand. I love a beautiful glass of red wine. And so when I discovered this, I'm like, I have to find something better. And that's when I discovered Scout & Cellar. So before I tell you a little bit about Scout & Cellar, I just want to tell you this real quick. So I want you to think about this. So your favorite wine is the Kendall Jackson Chardonnay, okay? I always use this example. You as a consumer are always expecting each bottle to taste the same. However, the earth, the climate, and other circumstances that affect the vineyard or harvest cannot be consistent. It's impossible. So what do they have to do? These companies have to modify the wine every time with chemicals so that you get the same taste. So I just want you to think about this. Now with Scout & Cellar, this is beautiful. They pick wines from all over the world, and they're beautiful wines that have never ever been harvested on GMO lands, which is really big because GMOs can last, and glyphosate can last up to 21 years. They are naturally grown with no synthetic pesticides. They are sustainable, organic, and or biodynamic. Okay, these are the farming methods that are used. They are delicious. Like literally, they are earthy and minerally. If you love sweet wines, you're not going to like this, okay? Because they're not sweet. They're really minerally, earthy, full. They're beautiful. Most are harvested from old growth vines. So this is big. These are vineyards that have never used these more conventional ways of agriculture, right? These synthetic pesticides and harmful things that we don't need on our grapes. There's 0 added chemicals, none, not one. There's no, we don't use, and they don't use any of the 250 approved additives that the FDA allows. They have low sulfites. So this is big. Now, why I love this is because it is a wine club. You can do a wine club or you can buy individual bottles. The great thing is that the wine club is you can do all red, you can do half red, half white, you can do all white. But it's awesome because you get sent these beautiful wines from all over the country, from all over the world, and you get to experience them. And then if you like them, you can go buy them. So totally check it out. Check out my resource page so that you can link to this Scout Cellar. So I mean, it's beautiful wine. I mean, if you're going to put something in your body, it might as well be the best. Okay, even when it comes to alcohol, I'm like clean alcohol. Yes, you can even buy clean alcohol. Again, I'd recommend not drinking alcohol. But hey, every once in a while, I love a nice big glass of red wine in the front of the fire with dinner. I mean, it's just so romantic and amazing. Okay. So next let's introduce Stacie. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to love Stacie. And this episode is so fantastic. And I'll tell you why. It's because she seriously brings so many tips to feng shui your house. Who doesn't want a feng shui? Do you even know what feng shui is? Well, you need to check this episode out. So this is what I love about Stacie. So even when she was young, she just had this fascination with decluttering and decorating, moving furniture around, creating clean, beautiful spaces that she enjoyed being in. And the great thing is, which I love, this is what I love about her, is I love that too. Like I love moving furniture around, cleaning, decluttering, things like that. But she's not only a feng shui consultant, she's also a personal coach, a Reiki master, and a shaman. She's just so multifaceted, my friends. And the beautiful thing about this podcast is you are going to get tips and things you can implement today to make your house more magnetic. And she's even offering a free 30-minute consultation. So I'm going to put her contact information in the show notes. I hope you love this episode as much as I do. And all right, let's do this.
So Stacie, tell me, how did you get into feng shui? Like what led you into this type of work?
What led me into feng shui is my love for decorating and decluttering ever since I was a little girl. And I ran across, there was some curiosity that was piqued within me. Probably I would say back in 2014, where I wanted to learn more about what feng shui was. Because as a child growing up throughout, up until that time, it was just something I loved to do.
Yeah.
And feng shui just started percolating within me. And so I reached out to a couple different friends who I just intuitively felt like maybe they would know about feng shui and someone that I could talk to. Ironically, both of these women and I'm going into massive story mode here.
Do it. We got time.
Yay. So both of these women do not know each other back in 2014. And both of them recommended the same feng shui master for me to contact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if that wasn't a sign, I don't know what is.
Definitely a sign. So you met this feng shui master, and then what?
Then I got really, really passionate about it. And she had told me, so I scheduled my appointment with her, and she said the biggest part of feng shui is decluttering the space. And so I went to town, and at the time I lived in a 6,000 square foot home. And I went through every cabinet, every closet, every drawer in every piece of furniture, the garages, everything. And I was what I consider to be a very tidy person to begin with. until I looked to like the spaces that I would sweep things under the rug without intentionally knowing I was doing that.
Oh, yeah. We all got some of those spaces, like the junk drawer.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then another course that I took, because I'm super into personal and professional development, there was a comment that still sticks with me to this day, and this was long before 2014, was if I have clutter in a drawer, in my car, anywhere, I have clutter somewhere in my life energetically. So that stuck with me.
I definitely feel that. I was sharing earlier with you that, my parents took my kids away for the weekend. And so Saturday, I spent literally all day cleaning and like dusting and staging and rearranging things. And just like when I'd walk out into my space, it's like, that like, I was like, it feels so good. And then of course my kids come back and they're like, put all their crap in the front door. And it's like, and I'm like, oh, shoot. But I really energetically feel how much when you're able to declutter, it's almost like you're really decluttering your mental and emotional, spaces.
Yeah.
And is that what you're helping? Like, is that where you think most people that need the help, is it really, because is it just a reflection of what's going on inside?
That's my belief. Yeah. Mm. And so it's a very, I'm a Feng Shui consultant, so I still partner up with like Feng Shui masters to do the more, and you might start hearing my landscaper, do the more nitty gritty analytical pieces like putting cures and remedies and activations within the home, which is really, really detailed. Yeah. So going back to this, so as a Feng Shui consultant, my focus is the decorating and decluttering piece of it, which Feng Shui masters don't want anything to do with that typically. Right. And so my point to sharing those couple of things with you is most people, well, not most, all of my clients, choose into partnership with me when we are doing the decluttering. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very vulnerable place, right. An intimate place to be with each person because, yes, it's a reflection of what is truly going on within them emotionally, energetically, etc. And I really am honored to get into partnership with them and the trust that they have with me to be in that space with them. Yeah. So it's a lot more than just decluttering. Like we do energetic different healings if they want to in the midst of it all. And there's a lot to it. So.
Well, yeah. I just think even the idea for all our listeners that don't really know what Feng Shui is, it's really about getting into your space in your home. Oh, hold on a minute. Sorry, that's my dog Dallas. She always loves to say hi when I'm in the middle of recording. Thanks, Dallas. Anyway, so I think this idea of, it can be really hard for people to throw things away and declutter. And so how do you, what would be some steps? Like if someone wanted to just take the first step to Feng Shui their house, what would you tell them?
I would say start in a space that is not as emotionally attached. And that might be in your clothing closets.
Yeah.
For some would be other areas. Mm-hmm. So I would start with the least emotional attachment space in your home to get started, because getting started is the whole key to it all.
Right. So, and why do you think we have these attachment to things? Because I really think about this sometimes. I was going through, I'm going to give an example. I was going through this big bin of like old baby clothes. And I had this little onesie. It was like a Metallica onesie for, both my boys. And I was like, I don't want to throw this away. But it's like, and I don't need it. And another child could use it. But these emotional attachments to things, like, do you find like that's really hard for people to deal with? And for you, like, how do you work with people through that process?
Oh gosh, every person is different. And that's such a great question. Thank you for that. And here's the thing, like if it doesn't spark joy, it's got to go. That's one of my things that I say, got to go. And, if you have like, for example, that onesie, whether you need it or don't need it, if it sparks joy for you and there's purpose to keep it, I would keep it.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, then let it go. And, go ahead.
Well, and I was just going to say, because there are some things that like I never use and they're kind of there and they just kind of bring a little bit like anxiety out when I'm like, oh, there's that again. I don't want to throw it away, but I don't want to give it away. But it's like, it's almost like, just taking the time to just get rid of it and then clearing that space. Because once you clear that space, aren't you just like energetically then asking for new things to come in? Like what's the energy? What's happening in the energy when you start to declutter your house?
Well, yeah, universal laws, it's, you're creating vacuums when releasing items. And so universal law is to fill that space. Wherever a vacuum is created, something is going to fill that space. So something that's super important with Feng Shui, and before we begin the decluttering process, whether you do it with me or yourself or however you do it, is to be very clear on the intention behind what you're doing. Like, what do you want in your life? Why do you want that in your life? And over the course of doing the decluttering, that might shift, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And you might stay on the same path and get even more detailed and clear with what you want and why you want it.
I love that. Well, I like I said earlier, when I clean and clear and get kind of into the nooks and crannies, like energetically, my space feels so much different. It really does. I mean, just like cleaning the windows. I was talking to another feng shui, and she talks about how the house is almost like a face or a body. Do you teach that? Like the doors is the mouth, and the windows are the eyes? Do you use that at all?
Similar, however, different words. And I believe our home is us. Our home. Have you ever done vision boards before?
Yes.
Okay. So vision boards are like, what's your experience like of a vision board, creating one?
Well, it's really just stating what I want and what I want to manifest in my life. And so it's using pictures and colors and different words to express that in a bigger way. And then also when I see it, it reminds me about that. Is that similar to what?
Yeah. And so what I have learned with Feng Shui is my home becomes my vision board.
Oh, I like that.
As long as it's set up in the way that, like, do you know what a Bagua chart is?
Nope.
Okay. I can get one to show you if you want me to. However, do you want me to grab one or just tell you?
The listeners probably won't know what that is, and because most of them are going to be audio, just listening. So can you kind of use words to describe that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So Bagua chart is in Feng Shui, it's a map of the space.
Okay.
So there's 9 squares in a Bagua map, and anyone can Google that. So it's spelled B as in boy, A as in apple, G as in Gary, U as in umbrella, A as in apple.
Bagua.
Yeah, Bagua map or Bagua chart. And there's all different images that will come up. However, the one constant thing is the 9 boxes. So there's like one space in your home that's for relationships, like romantic relationships. One square is for prosperity. One is for helping people in travel, children and creativity. There's all these different boxes. So 9 of them. And so with Feng Shui, it's decorating with the principles and concepts of the Bagua chart, Bagua map. So Feng Shui can get really, really deep. And what I mean by that is each room in the home symbolizes one of those squares, depending upon your, floor plan of your home,
right?
The direction the home's facing, etc. And then it can get even deeper where each room can have all 9 of the squares in there.
Oh.
And then your yard is a huge component of Feng Shui in the front and backyard. So it can get really, really deep is what I'm saying with that. And go ahead.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, that to me seems really overwhelming. Like, especially if I'm like, okay, what are just like some simple things? Okay, we talked about decluttering, which is huge, like going through those, those nooks and crannies, those drawers, those closets, the things that you just like stuff shit in. And you're like, I don't want to deal with it right now because I have a junk drawer and I have a room for that. Like, I'm just like, I don't know where this goes, just put it in there. And that causes anxiety. But when I go in and clean it out, oh, it feels so good. So I love that tip. So what, we were talking earlier about prosperity. All of us want prosperity in our lives. Who doesn't want prosperity? Unless you're a robot, and I don't know a lot of robots. So what can they do? What are some things that they can do to increase the prosperity energy in their homes?
Okay. So declutter is the number one. And what I'll do is I'll dig a little deeper into what I mean by decluttering.
Love it.
So starting in a space where you're not super attached to the items, and most people begin in their clothing.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give you some pointers on decluttering. So in the decluttering process, there's going to be a few piles that you create.
Okay.
So one will be throwaway.
Okay.
One will be giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
One will be items that you will be selling.
Okay.
And another pile will be items that you will be keeping.
Okay.
So throwaway pile, giveaway, selling, keeping. And when I say giveaway, that can be donating or giving to a friend or whatever.
Perfect.
And one more pile is any items that need to be fixed or repaired.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And I want to be really clear on the fixing. So if you have like a object like an angel or a jar or ceramics, something that has fallen and broken into many, many pieces.
Yeah.
I would highly encourage you to throw it away.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And now, when I say fixing, like when I started getting super into Feng Shui, like sometimes things break in the midst of that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that broke was like my ice maker on my freezer many, many years ago. So I immediately called the repair place to get it fixed. It doesn't mean you have to get it fixed that moment. However, calling and scheduling someone to repair it, big deal.
Got it. Yeah, because it's just one of those things that you don't prioritize, but it's always there until you do it.
Yeah.
And that's an energetic drain, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. So make your piles. And so when you're going into your space, you have your 4 categories. And then, which I love, a third of that is like you're releasing.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So that's a huge piece. And when you're in the decluttering process, it's really important to honor your space, meaning your person. So make sure because you are moving a lot of energy around. So it's super important to be drinking water, and it's normal, perfectly normal to get really tired during the process.
I've felt that before. Interesting.
Yeah. So like honor yourself in that time and take breaks when need to, like nurture yourself.
I love that. I love it. Okay, so we've decluttered. Then what would be, okay, so now we're like, okay, we're really going through our spaces. And I mean, that can take sometimes weeks, months. You know, we have a Christmas break coming up. This is recorded right before, Christmas 2020. And I love those times because Christmas brings in a lot of stuff. I love to clear out before, but we do spend a little bit more time in our home. And we are spending more time now because we are going out as much. Things are closed down depending on where you live. So I think that can keep you busy for a lifetime for some people, right? Okay. So what if you go through all the decluttering? You're good, because I also hear there's important places to put plants, like your bed shouldn't go a certain way. Are there a couple other tips that you can give us that people can just automatically do this and feel good? And then if they want to go do more, they can reach out to you and be like, hey, Stacie, help me out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give 5 different tips that anyone can do.
Okay.
And I love that you brought up you didn't say bamboo, however, said plants.
Yeah.
And something anyone can do is put plants next to your sinks, because sinks, toilets, all those things, water element is a symbol for prosperity. And think about water going down the drain, at the sinks, and toilets being flushed, or in your bathtub, your shower, etc.
Okay.
So an easy tip that anyone can do that will bring prosperity and is a cure for sinks and so forth would be putting plants next to the sink.
Love it.
And it doesn't need to be a real plant. Like ideally, real plants are great. Okay. However, plants that tend to do really well in darker spaces are bamboos or money trees, money plants.
I love it. I have a huge money tree.
Awesome.
Okay, but it's not my bathroom, but I do have plants in all my bathrooms.
Awesome.
Good. Okay, feel good about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And your money tree, after, if you want to talk about where that's at in your home, I want to understand your floor plan and all of that to see, because it doesn't need to just be in bathrooms. That's a place where I completely encourage people to put them first and foremost. And a lot of times I'll get people saying, well, I don't have a green thumb, I used to say that too. And I call BS on those people, and I turn them into liars.
I believe it. I'm like, everyone can have plants. They're like amazing.
Yeah, totally. And if you're too gun shy, just get fake ones. And bamboos, like I said, are my preferable, are my plant of choice, or money trees, because they're really easy to take care of. And the symbolism behind it is incredible.
I love it. I have, I'm excited to work with you, because you'll see I have so many plants I've collected over the years, and they're all simple plants that, maybe I water every couple weeks, or when I just think about it, and I always have them. Not only are they good energetically, but they also help clean your air in your home, which indoor air is like some of the most toxic air that you can breathe. So I love it. Okay. So put our plants near our sinks, bathrooms. Love it. Okay. What's next?
Yeah.
Love it.
An item to get rid of while we're on the plant subject is potpourri.
Ooh, potpourri. I don't even like potpourri. Tell us why.
It's all dead plants.
Oh, that's good. Good.
Dried up dead plants. So if you have fake plants in lieu of live plants, make sure there's no potpourri in there or like dried up plants.
Okay.
Because sometimes they can be in there.
Okay.
So it's best to do silk or plastic. Silk would be best.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So I have a question. So I have this like beautiful, huge piece of like driftwood that's obviously dead, but it's on my wall. It's gorgeous. We cleaned it out. I put some moss and like air plants on it. Is that okay?
Do you love it?
I do. I love it. It's so cool.
Then like I can see how it lights you up too when you talk about it. So you already have your answer.
Okay. Love that. Okay. That's good. Look at that little tip, everyone. This is so much fun. Okay. Number 3. I love it. Or what number are we on? I don't even know. I'm so into it.
That was number 1.
Oh.
Other thing is and anyone can do this. So like, these are tips that I'm giving you that anyone can do.
I love it.
The front door, it's super important that is in pristine order. Okay.
So what was the first thing you said?
The front door, keeping it in pristine order. I'm talking about the walkway. Like I have bushes of flowers walking up to my walkway to my front door, and they're so beautiful. And I make sure that they're rounded and not like overflowing onto the walkway. And when I'm standing at my front door, keeping my door clean and having like a black plastic doormat.
Oh, black plastic. Okay, I don't have that. Okay, Tom, why?
It's black is, symbolic for water. Water is a prosperity element.
Okay.
And keep that front doormat clean too. And you can get them at Home Depot.
Okay.
And I would have it where it covers the entire width of the front door.
Ooh, okay. Love it. Okay.
Like the bigger the better, as long as it stays neat.
Okay.
And it just plain black rubber mat.
Got it.
Okay. And then additionally, I would have a welcome sign. So I'm giving you way more than 5 tips. However,
girl, give it. I love it. Yeah, this is awesome. Yep. People want this. We want this.
Yeah. So the black doormat, a welcome sign that's beautiful. Like I have one of those really tall, skinny welcome signs that I bought at Hobby Lobby. And you can buy them anywhere. However, like if you want a deal, Hobby Lobby, for those of you who don't know, whatever's not on sale this week will be on sale next week. And when in doubt, there's always a 40% off coupon online that you can grab.
Yeah, I love Hobby Lobby. I could spend days there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love it.
More clutter, right?
More stuff. But it's intentional stuff and it makes you happy. Like it's also just getting little things just to spruce it up. There's nothing like that, just creating that space. So, okay, so big welcome sign. Love that.
Yeah.
Black rubber mat. And then, okay, I'm just going to ask you a question. So my front door, we have these old like glass wrought iron, doors, and they're so hard to open. I've also learned that it's like, you want to make sure getting in and out of the front door is like easy, right?
Well, yeah. And like, do you love your doors?
I have red doors, which I love, but I have the wrought iron glass things in front of them. So you can't really get the whole thing. No, they're old and I want new ones, but that's a cost, something eventually that I want to do. No, I don't love them, but really thinking about the front door, that's like kind of where everything comes in, right? It's like that energy is coming in. So, okay, good. So figuring out how to make that space more welcoming. Is that
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And so right now I would say, Becky, if there's a way for you to remove the metal and glass pieces and keeping your red door, I would do that until you're able to replace it.
Okay. I love it. Yeah.
Do you have to keep the glass and the metal?
I kind of do because it's more security, because my other door, they're just the red doors. They're just not secure enough. So I feel like I like that because then I can open up the red doors and have the light come in from the front door, and see what's, going on. But eventually they just need to be replaced. So, but I love the idea of the black mat, getting a welcome sign, like just making it feel a little bit more warm and inviting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if there's a way for you to have that refinished, your metal, then I would do that as a temporary if you're able to do that.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm going to look
because I can tell, like, it's energetically, I can tell it's a thing for you.
Totally. It is.
Okay.
Cool.
So, and, making sure your landscape is beautiful and trim, and, like your any light bulbs. Here's another tip, is making sure it's bright and inviting. And part of that includes making sure all the light bulbs on the exterior, interior match and are working.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, windows, you're talking about windows.
Yes.
Think about like making sure your windows are clean and like they're not foggy and not able to, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like there's a lot of, think of it, clarity, right?
Love it. Yes.
If your window.
I just want to give a little tip to our listeners, because a lot of people I know like use Windex and really toxic cleaners. I just want to share with you, just real quick before we get into feng shui, use vinegar and water. It's amazing. And a towel. That's all you need. Vinegar, water, and a towel. Okay. Thank you. Got to get that out. I love it. Just clean your windows. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
And keep the home not just clutter free, dust free,
That's keep it all. It's so interesting because some of the things that you're sharing, about having plants and, clutter and clean. I mean, it really is like on a health aspect. You don't want a lot of dust because, your furniture, everything starts to off gas over time, and that gets collected in the dust. So it's really important to use, how they have those dry duster things. The dry, you want to use a wet cloth, because the dry duster thing's just going to throw the dust everywhere else. You want to make sure it's wet and that you're really like, just wiping things down, because on a health aspect, that's great. But I love it and an energetic, because it's so integrated into health and wellness too, which I love this. Okay. So dust, make sure it's dust. Dusted.
So adorable. I love it. Yes, dust free. And okay, can I circle back to the plant situation for a moment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, and then I'd like to go back to the dust part.
Yeah.
So with the plants, inside, outside, if you have dead debris in the planters or you're inside or outside, make sure you're cleaning that out, because again, that's dead debris.
Got it. Okay, so good. I need to do that.
Important. What's that?
I need to do that. So, okay, I have a question. I'm getting my own little personal feng shui here too. Well, everyone's learning. It's so great. Do you see this vase? My listeners can't see it, but I have a vase behind me of a plant. So I went up to my cabin with my cousin and we created these beautiful bouquets, and then I hung it upside down. But as you can see, it's all dead plants. Should I toss
that? Do you love it?
Kind of. I think I have to get rid of it. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I mean, because every time I move it, it like puts a bunch of crap on the floor. So, see, Stacie, this is so good, because it's like you're really helping me, instead of being like, what about this, Stacie? What about this, Stacie? Like, I love it. It's like I look at it. Does it actually bring me, like, do I really love it? I mean, I love the memory of when I created it, but it itself, it doesn't. It throws crap all over the floor. Dallas walks by, hits the table. It's like crap. Okay. Okay. Dead plant material, gone. Okay. It's out. Okay. Love it.
Yes. I love it. So And another thing with plants is treat plants how you treat yourself, you know?
Ooh, I love that.
Talk to it,
Mm,
touch the leaves, thank it. It's a great way to see, like, as an example of how I believe how we nurture our plants is how we nurture ourselves.
I love,
And yeah, so like
I love that.
it's a great representation of like how my plant's doing is how I'm doing,
Yes,
right?
yes. That's so true because if you're not watering them or even conscious of them, you're probably just, not taking care of yourself and running through life. They do that. That is such a really good reflection. I love that. Did you ever, on a side note, did you ever hear about that experiment where they had two plants exactly the same? It was in a high school, and all the high school students would walk by one plant and say, like, "You're beautiful. I love you." And then another plant, they'd be like, "I hate you. You're ugly. You'll never amount to anything." And you saw the plant that was treated horribly, and it began to die and wither, and it had the exact same circumstances, the soil, the environment, and the one that had the loving was grow. And so I wanted to share that because it really does, like, if you can just create that love and express that to the plant like that, then they're just going to grow stronger and more beautiful. And it's almost like you're creating that, just that homeostasis, that environment inside. I love it. I love that idea. What a great tip.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
What else?
Yeah,
Bring it on, girl.
it's so awesome. I also bringing back to like the dusting and the plants and like
Yeah.
air, all of the things, salt lamps. And I saw one behind you.
Yep, got one right there.
You have it lit. Do you have that lit 24/7?
This one I do.
Good.
I have one in my room, but I like it completely pitch black in my room when I sleep.
Okay. So tip with salt lamps
Yeah.
is as many, there's never too many. I probably have about 30 of them in my home.
Oh, I love it.
And I keep them on 24/7.
Okay.
And it will help with the atmosphere of your home, like like I have a friend who invented and sells these salt puffers. They're Himalayan salt puffers that you puff instead of like an asthma inhaler.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Himalayan salt lamps and more.
Mm-hmm.
And Lily is the gal's name there. She's incredible. She's on the verge of retiring, so she doesn't have as much inventory anymore. However, like she does have some. And I'm needing to find a new place to refer people to because I'm a big believer in salt lamps. And so they help with breathing. They help with dust. And they help with just the overall atmosphere. Like when people walk into my home, they just feel at peace. They feel love. They feel calm.
Yeah.
All of the things. Like they love it when they walk in here. And there's an abundance of reasons why. However, a big piece of it is the salt lamps.
I am such a huge fan of salt lamps too. And I don't they increase, like, it's almost like they increase negative ions, which is also something you get from when it rains. So it actually helps increase that like calm. That's why they're so calming, because they really do increase these like negative ions, which are almost like antioxidants to our body. So I love that idea. And I've also read, so I appreciate that source. It's really important to get ones because I've seen so many fake salt lamps. So you want to make sure they're literally salt, and and the best ones come from Pakistan. So that's from my understanding, my research. But okay, love salt lamps. I'm so glad I'm on that. I want to buy a couple more. I have one over here. The light bulb's been out forever on my husband, so I need to fix that, get that taken care of. Okay, what else? This is awesome.
Okay, and a great tip too, you know how you like to keep your bedroom dark, is you can paint the inside of the salt lamp red.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
So it just makes it less bright.
Yes. My source had them that she sold that were darker. However, she doesn't have any more in stock. So again, I need to find a new source.
Yeah.
And until I find that new source, paint the inside of a salt lamp. And I'm with you. Like it's important to have real salt lamps.
Yes.
Like Bed Bath & Beyond, no. Target, no. Walmart, no. It's really important to have a source that are legit, real salt.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. That's really good to know. I know that when I did my research, I did buy mine on Amazon. But I said salt lamps from Pakistan. And then everyone I've got from that has been great. So yeah, I think we'll kind of leave it in people's hands to make sure that they get it. And if it's a salt lamp, if you lick it and it tastes like salt.
That's so true. My friend had this sign in her store that said, "You lick it, you buy it."
Like, is this real?
What, Becky?
Go ahead. No, you.
Oh, so like some other things that I have, like I said, I'm a big fan. So under my desk where I sit or when I stand to do art on my easel, like paint and stuff, I have salt bricks that I actually stand on because they're very grounding too.
Oh, that's a good idea. Where would you get salt bricks?
From Himalayan Salt Lamps or more is where I got before. However, I need to find a new source because for her to be retiring, I want to make sure people have a good source. So I will
get on that. Let me know. Or not get on it, but you know what I mean. Let me know when you figure that out.
Yes.
Okay.
I will.
Awesome.
For sure. So those are the tips.
Okay.
The black doormat, keeping the area pristine.
Yeah.
And having a welcome sign at the front door. Keeping your entire home clutter-free, and that includes your car, your vehicles.
Yeah.
I have little nooks and crannies that creep up, and the garage. That's super important too.
Totally.
And then plants, salt lamps, and the decluttering. Huge part. Yeah.
I love it. I think for some, especially moms, because especially in the car, that's a tough one. But it's like, just start small. Start with the junk drawer. Start with your closet. Just start somewhere. Because I think that's how, when you start to build that momentum and you start to clean out. I know when I clean my closet, and then, I know when I need to clean my closet, when I go in, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to be in here. And then when I clean it, I'm like, I could just hang out in here. Like, I'll brush my teeth in my closet. It's so weird. I'm like, it just feels so good in here. I really appreciate those tips, Stacie, because I really feel that that's what people want. They just want, where can they start? How can they begin this shift? How can they create a space that they live in that they love? And so these are great tips. So tell us, okay, so you work with people. How do you actually work with people? What's your process?
My process is it's definitely COVID friendly. So if I can come to your home, wear masks, do all the things that, you need in order to feel safe.
And you're in Arizona. I just want to say you are in Phoenix, Scottsdale area.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know we have a lot of hippie mom members in that area. So that's good to know.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's in Arizona. And then if they don't live in Arizona, are you going to travel or just kidding?
Yes. Actually, I have people who fly me to their homes.
Okay.
And I work with people on site or Zoom. It doesn't matter if you're in Arizona or out of state. It's your comfort level. And so I do Zoom or any other application. I have Zoom myself, so I would set that up with you all. And also on-site visits as well. So yeah, and I would love to work with any of you. And yeah, I do a free 30-minute consultation with anyone who's interested.
So cool. So cool. So what is, I'm going to make sure I get a link to your website, but what's your website? It's
www.staciesholer.com. That's STACIESHOLER.com.
Okay. I'll make sure that I have that in the show notes so people can just click on it if they want to go to your website.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacie. This was so much fun. I learned so much. Right when we get off, I'm going to go do a couple things. I might even run over to Hobby Lobby and get a welcome sign.
Yay!
And I'm going to work on my door, darn it, because that is definitely something that feels stuck that I need to get on. So
yeah, there's companies out there who will repair it for you and clean it, freshen it up for you. So I encourage you to do that, especially with how you were talking about it.
Yeah, no, I'm ready just to get like completely new glass doors that match it. So I'm gonna work on that. But I appreciate you so much, and I'm so glad we had this conversation. And what I really appreciate is just being able to give our listeners like some, tips and things that they can do that's not overwhelming, but that can really start to create that momentum. And you all know how to connect with Stacie. So, and I'm sure you'll be on again, Stacie. We'll have another podcast soon together.
Thank you for having me. And it's my honor and privilege to share these tips with all of you. And, please take me up on the 30-minute free consultation, because I love to support people and bringing into their lives what they want. So
I love it. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. So thank you, Stacie. All right, everyone, we will catch you on the next podcast. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Oh, bye.